Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, gonna go over a story titled Wife Cheats on Me While I'm Training for Deployment. And guys, here we are with yet another story about a young guy that very foolishly gets married right out of high school and goes in the military, and it's only a matter of time before, guess what, his wife, his very young wife, is cheating on him when he's away on a deployment or some kind of training or something like that. And guys, I can't tell you how many videos I've done like this, how many stories I've read like this about these young guys who get married in the military and this type of thing happens. It's really, really sad. But every time I do a video like this, maybe once every 3 or 4 months, I get thousands of comments sometimes about guys in the military from all ages telling stories of how it happened to them or some guy that they knew or whatever the hell it was, and pretty much expressing to young guys out there who are watching, don't get married when you're in the military, okay? And I'm not saying it happens every time, but it happens so often that you're better off just staying single, and if you're going to do the marriage thing, wait until you get out. I mean, in today's world, I tell you, don't get married at all anyway, given how the deck is stacked against guys in the divorce courts, the family courts, and all that, and plus the headaches involved. But if you're going to do it anyway, don't do it until you get out of the military, okay? And also, certainly don't do it when you're 18, 19 years old. You're out of your mind. And I just never get it. So many guys do this so young, and it's like, don't they have a father or an uncle to advise them that it's a bad decision, that they're kids? Because let's be honest here, in today's world, somebody graduating high school at 18 pretty much has the maturity level of somebody back when I graduated high school, of someone who was 15. And someone that gets out of college at 22 years old, 23 years old nowadays have the maturity of someone who was 18 when I graduated high school. It's just the level, because kids are much more spoiled and entitled than they were back when they were my age. Because let's be honest, the old helicopter moms and parents spoiling them and all that. I can go off on a rant for 20 minutes about that subject, but that's not the point of today's video. But the point is, the maturity level is not there. So I'm going to go into this, guys. You're going to see I'm talking about here. He's going to share his story. And yet another, again, a sign, a warning not to do this when you're in the military or very young. So he starts off, here's how it all began. My wife and I were married at the age of 18 after dating for a year and living together for about 9 months. 18. Good Lord. I was her first real boyfriend and her first lover. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, dude. I joined the military a few weeks after being married and I've been in ever since. This past year has been difficult because I'm gone on many training assignments. In November 2011, this is obviously a way older article or story, guys, but it's relevant because human nature is human nature, and this bullshit in the military has been going on, obviously, for a very long time. I was sent to a 5-month training course, and my wife stayed at our home in Louisiana. I visited on weekends since it was only about a 6-hour drive away. I got home in April and had orders to move to El Paso, Texas. She was enrolled in an online college and is about 5 months away from graduating. But if she were to move to El Paso, she wouldn't be able to complete her 2-year as the states have different requirements. We both agreed that it would be best if she stayed in Louisiana and just finished school. Okay, so in other words, if they were a mature, healthy couple with no problems and didn't get married so young and didn't have these stereotypes about what happens when you marry too young, it would make sense for her to stay behind, finish her thing, because obviously that was required for her to finish it in that state, and then move. If somebody that you can absolutely trust and have a good thing going with, you can trust to do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't go that way. He goes on, so I moved to El Paso, Texas in mid-April, and she's living in Louisiana. We would always send dirty pictures and messages to each other because we missed each other, but this began to slow and it stopped altogether. And that is a big red flag that he should have been really paying attention to. Remember, guys, it's all about people's actions, not their words, especially with women. Pay attention to their actions. I cannot stress that enough. I asked her why it slowed, and she said it was stress from her school. Yeah, sure. I could believe that, so I just sort of lived with it. During her time in Louisiana, she hung out with a lot of her friends that happened to be gay males, and I knew them, so it wasn't a threat. I did find that there was a straight guy in the group, and I didn't like that. She assured me that nothing was wrong and everything was fine. July 19th, we went on a vacation to Puerto Rico, and I had no suspicion she was cheating on me at this time. We go our separate ways at the airport when we leave, and she's supposed to graduate early September and move in with me then. Around August, I happen to look at our phone bill and see that she texts a certain number quite a bit after she has told me goodnight. I found out who it was, and my heart sank. I mentioned that I didn't like it, and she said she was sorry and would stop, but nothing has happened. She did begin to decrease the amount that she would text him, but it never stopped altogether. Okay, so he has the proof right there in the text, and he confronts her on this, and all we're getting here is basically, okay, I'll stop. That's it. No consequences for her actions, and basically he said it never stopped altogether. Right then and there. Why isn't this guy laying down the law? I mean, there's proof right there. So, is there any reason for her to stop? She's not going to respect him if she flat out, there's proof, and he's still going along with this. You're going to find out, guys, by the way, at the end of the story, that this guy has had before her, every girlfriend he had cheated on him. Isn't any wonder, because he is the classic nice guys. Nice guys finish last. Nice guys are always usually doormats and pushovers. Let people walk all over them because they don't stand up for themselves, which I'm teaching you guys not to be. I'm not saying you got to go around being a jerk, but you stand up for yourself. You don't tolerate disrespect and bad treatment from people, whether it be your friends, your family, your coworkers, your clients even, and of course, people you're involved with in relationships. Because if you are, they'll walk all over you, and they're not going to respect you. And you're going to see here, she obviously doesn't respect him for what's going to happen next because he didn't lay down the law with her, amongst other things. Well, a few days ago, she moved in with me, and it was the happiest I've been in a long time. I still had a bad feeling in my gut and asked her a few times if anything happened, and she said I was just over-worried. So he knows something's up. His gut is telling something's up. Guys, always trust your gut. But notice, she's basically gaslighting him, oh, you're just worried. You're being ridiculous. That didn't satisfy my gut feeling, though. I wasn't sure. By the way, guys, if you happen to hear all this wind going on, we're having yet another crazy cold spell where it's like a wind chill of like -20 here. It's fucking freezing here. But I'm sure that's nothing to some of you guys out that were in Texas or in the Midwest, but still it's cold. Cold is cold. This is why 2023, I'm going to Florida. Anyway, he says basically his gut told him something was up. I wasn't sure if I wanted her to say she had cheated or if she was being honest and I was just being an a-hole. I came to Reddit and found people giving advice on how to get a spouse to confess to having an affair. I tried being overly sweet because I sincerely wanted to know, and that worked. We were lying in bed when I got home from work and brought up again. I asked her if she could just promise me that nothing happened, and she replied that she couldn't make that promise. She couldn't just admit it, but I couldn't make that promise. In my heart, I knew she had slept with him. Part of me didn't get very upset because I realized we'd been together at such a young age and that maybe she was curious, but the other part of me was still dead. I assumed it was a one-time drunk thing, but it turns out it was roughly 5 through 9 times, and this killed me inside. Well, which one is it, 5 or 9 times? And by the way, this number that he came up with maybe she hinted at that or who the hell knows. If she's saying it's 5 to 9 times, which I guarantee she knows whether it was 5 or 9 times, I guarantee that was a fraction of what it really was. This guy's he's just so blind and naive. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but on the other hand, this probably just wants to slap him upside the head, slap some sense into this guy. I asked for details, and she didn't want to give me them, but she gave in. She slept with him the first time sometime in early July and claims it was because it was a drunken attraction, but the others were just joy, I guess. It's always the alcohol. It's always the most convenient thing to blame it on the booze. It wasn't me. It was JD. I asked how it started, and I think this stabbed an already dead heart even worse. He would come up to her and start flirting and rubbing, and eventually they would have sex on the other way around. Or the other way around. Was the ring on her finger not enough to remind her that someone has chosen to love her forever? And also putting the blame on the guy. Don't blame me. It was the alcohol, and it was his fault. He's the one that was hitting on me and rubbing up against me, so what's a girl to do? I started asking specific questions and found out that she didn't use protection with him, and she had given him oral. Just get better and better. And I'm being sarcastic. All those things were sacred to me. Those were things we have done together, and it hurt me beyond belief to know she had done those things to another man. At this point, I literally felt like vomiting and had to leave the room. At the time, the sight of her made me sick because all I could see was her and another man having sex. I didn't know what to do at first, so I called my mother-in-law, as she is the only one who gives me good, level-headed advice, and she was shocked at what her daughter had done to me. Well, I have to question the mother-in-law giving him good, level-headed advice. Was it this mother-in-law that advised him to marry her daughter at 18 years old? I hope that wasn't his source of good advice, good parental advice. My wife is now in the deepest shit with her close family, and part of me is sad that they know, but the part of me makes me feel better knowing I'm loved by her family that much. I've done nothing but provide for her and work my ass off. Exactly. This guy has done nothing but provide and work his ass off. You know, he's paying the bills while she's in school, and obviously he's loyal to her. I mean, you can just tell this guy he's a good guy. He's a guy, you know, you'd want to be friends with, and he's loyal. But they got married too young. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen if they got married later in life, but especially that young. You got to have life experiences. You got to live. It's just too young. And I'm not justifying in any way, shape, or form her actions or lying or any of that stuff, but still, got to wait to be later in life if you're going to do it. Obviously, we had our share of fights when I was a jerk sometimes, but nothing you do should make someone cheat. I want to work it out with her as I love her more than anything in this world. It's difficult, though, to know that she has slept with another man while we were married. She says she loves me, but I don't believe it. Trust your gut. And dude, if she's done this now, it's going to happen again, because this guy, if he's doing a career in the military, he's going to be away. He's going to be deployed. He's going to be going on training things, whatever the hell they call it, and be away. And this may not happen anytime soon, but it will happen again in the future when she starts being alone, depressed, feeling low, whatever it happens to be. You know, it is cliche about the once a cheater, always a cheater. And like he said, he just can't get that image out of his head. And if he stays with her and all of a sudden she's pregnant, this guy really better do a DNA or a paternity test to find out this kid is even his. Because he said flat out that she was having unprotected sex with this other guy. I mean, what the hell? Goes on, when you love someone this much, you do what you can do, and you cannot hurt them, and you damn sure don't do it multiple times. I can't find the strength to leave her, as I've always told myself I love her too much and we can work through anything. Well, that's probably part of the problem. She knows this guy is going to be around no matter what. Even if it isn't conscious, if it's subconscious, she knows she can get away with murder. Literally. So, well, not literally, but you know what I mean here. He goes on, I don't really know how to cope with this, though. This will be an emotional scar for life. Every girlfriend I've had has cheated on me in some way, and I thought she was different. Am I the one who is different and doesn't cheat? How do I go on from this? This guy has got to change his ways. Okay, this guy is obviously the classic nice guy, and is seen as someone that women can walk all over. And the proof is right there when he says that obviously every girlfriend he's ever had has cheated on him. So I'm not justifying their actions. I mean, they're assholes for doing what they've done, but this guy obviously needs to do some work on himself. He needs to man up in the sense that he needs to stand up for himself and not tolerate any bullshit from anybody else. That's why this type of thing is happening to him. He's seen as the classic nice guy. He probably put all his girlfriends on pedestals and treat them like the queen. And unfortunately, as you know, you put somebody on a pedestal and treat them like royalty, they're going to treat you like a peasant. You don't do that. And again, you're not going around being a jerk to people, but you're having self-respect. You don't tolerate disrespect from anybody. And you put your needs first. He goes on with an update. He says, thank you for everyone for the advice, and in ways has made me feel better. I think it's just having people who are willing to give me honest, blunt advice. I realize I failed to mention I was informed on this Wednesday morning. I wrote this early yesterday at work because I couldn't keep my mind off it, so I had to vent somehow. My supervisor knows of the situation, but sadly we are so mannered that it would be childish of me to take days off and make others cover my ship. Plus, it's nice to get away and be sort of preoccupied. When I first sighted, I didn't want to be away all the time. When I first joined, I didn't want to be away all the time, so I joined the Air Force weather career. Little did I know, the Army doesn't have their own weather support, so we are attached to their aviation units, which are always in heavy demand. But I do love working with the Army. The trainings are intense, but just up my adrenaline junkie alley. That's cool. Once I'm out, I feel that things will be much better. I seriously think I'm going to see if we can make this work. I've only seen her this sad and hate myself so much once before. Her father ended his life right around the time we started dating, and she felt horrible because they were arguing. He had asked for a hug before she left, and she said no. The next day he was found dead. She feels regret every day for that, and now I'm seeing her go through the same process, except it's for her cheating on me now. Hey, you make your bed, you lie in it, okay? And don't let what happened, obviously, when she was younger with her dad, and her feeling, obviously, damaged because of that, make you, let go what happened, okay? And quite frankly, in my opinion, this guy should end this marriage and move on because they're so young, and I don't see this going well. But you can see here, this guy's he's the classic nice guy. He really cares about her so much, but that, unfortunately, is going to have him make bad decisions. Honestly, though, I'm withholding all my emotion towards her. It's difficult as I wanted to show her emotion since we have been separated, but I have to let her know she effed up. Well, good there. I've told her that if she wants to work now, it's time to prove it to me, and there better be no doubt in my mind that she is deeply sorry. She just surprised me at work with Starbucks and a nice cooked lunch because she knows sleep has been rough and I've barely eaten in the past few days. She hasn't done anything like that in years. Well, damn right she ought to be showing up at your work giving you some freshly cooked food. That's just to start. And I can think of many other things that she could certainly do to show her love and appreciation how sorry she is. But I'm not going to mention it now because YT wouldn't like some of the things I'd say. Anyways, I won't be very worried when I deploy because she has planned to move in with her mom so she can pocket our BAH way before all this, and she won't be anywhere near a military base then. I will check in on this later. Thank you all once again. So there you go, guys. Yet another classic story about the young guy who gets married, too young, and this type of things happens. So, moral of the story is, guys, I know you all love to have a good revenge story. Somebody burned or something like that, or a guy comes out on top in a situation like this. Is not it. This is it. This story, this video, this story is to basically show you guys this is the type of crap that happens. Not all the time, not saying every single situation, but it happens so much, you got to be careful. So for you young guys that either are in the military right now, and you got girlfriends, and you're thinking about going and spending your money on a big ring for her, and proposing and doing that stereotypical thing you see in the movies and TV, or you are about to go in the military and want to marry your girl before you go in, really think about this. Really watch this video, obviously. Read the comments below. Check out my other videos on this subject and read the comments from guys that have experiences. You have guys from all walks of life, all ages, that it either happened to them or happened to some guy they knew, and what they went through, how badly hurt they were, burned financially, all that. And that will really make you think twice about doing that while you're in the service, okay? When you get out, that's a different ball game. Again, you know my opinion on the subject, but wait later in life. But doing this when you are so young and no experience, and let's be honest, no real maturity and all that. There are exceptions, but generally speaking, people these days are so immature, 18, 19, 20, early 20s. It's really sad. I hope that's going to change one day, hopefully with more men in young guys' lives to give the strong male role model type of thing. But until then, not a good idea. You just wait. So anyhow, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Again, share your stories. Those of you that were in the military or in the military, warning young guys so they can understand not to make this mistake, so they don't get burned. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.